I think CZ is a great player and he knows the game he's playing very well, especially after what we have seen with FTX. He doesn't want to be in the same place.
They just move around the CEOs, right? And it's like, oh, we have a new director, we have a new leader. But in reality, the person who actually holds the power is the owner.
It belongs to the biggest quantity of people possible. I think that's the way it was seen, right? Because otherwise we are just bending to the traditional finance system.
Step right up, folks. It's time for Chain Chatter. For this week's episode, I'm joined by Bruna Brambati, social media manager at Being Crypto. So, Bruna, do you have any predictions for 2024? Do you have a crystal ball or something of that sort, or something you would like to see next year happen?
Well, I wish I had one so I could predict the future and invest in the right coin, but I don't. There are some things that I hope that will happen next year. Like, I'm still divided regarding the ETFs, but we are expecting for 24, 25 something similar at least to a bull run, right? So expecting the market's positions to improve. So that's the thing I hope. Yeah.
Fingers crossed. There is one project that I'm kind of looking forward to, and it's the Doge 1 satellite. And it's like the first ever satellite being sent over with Doge coins. So like it's completely funded by Doge, and it's in collaboration with NASA and many other moving parts. And they're going to have like a live feed of the moon, and it's going to be circulating the moon. So it's really interesting, taking Doge to the moon, like literally. So I think that's fun.
Finally.
Yes.
I bet that I know some names that are very happy with that.
Yes. So would you say you're optimistic, pessimistic, neutral about the future in crypto, like in the next few months?
Next few months, I think it's very near. But for the next year, for the next 2 years, I think I'm very optimistic.
Love that. I'm optimistic too. Okay, so here are today's topics. Binance restructuring, Cristiano Ronaldo sued for promoting Binance, TradFi warming up with crypto, and Brazil slaps new crypto tax. Let's start with our first piece, which is Binance restructuring. This week, we saw how CZ left the board of US Binance branch. The company also mentioned that they will add their support of their native stablecoin BUSD. And as a cherry on top, the Philippines just said that the company is operating without a license. Let's start with like the first little piece. Do you have any thoughts on CZ stepping down from that post?
I was not surprised. I've been listening that Binance is going to blow out some way, somehow, soon for a few years already. So it was not a surprise. But I also think there is something behind. Basically, it's not something common for us to see like on a daily basis, like billionaires being arrested, especially in the USA, right? And there's also some people are pointing that they already know that because Binance was already moving almost $4 billion through other accounts. And this was exactly the price of the fine. There are a lot of expectations, but I think that this was like a move he was willing to take, Like he has much more that he's worried about not losing. Like $4 billion is just a piece of his fortune. And even though he's not like the CEO anymore, it's just his company, right? So he's still going to be the owner. He's still going to be able to make moves here and there. That's what I believe. I think it was just a move that he was willing to make.
That's a good point, because I've been seeing like in other industries and other companies that they just move around the CEOs, right? And it's like, oh, we have a new director, we have a new leader. But in reality, the person who actually holds the power is the owner.
No, I was just thinking, because I was reading these days that a lot of speculations, right? But like you have like such a huge market in North America, you know this better than I. But then you have Coinbase and BlackRock also there. And they are huge players in North America, right? And we know there is a lot of lobby happening when you're talking about laws, about prosecutions and this kind of stuff. So there might be something there, because when you talk about Asia, especially China, And then you talk about US, there's a lot of conflict. And then you have big players who have interest in not having Binance playing the same game. So I think that it depends on where you are looking from, like where you're starting to look at this story. There are a lot of paths you can follow. But the thing that I'm most curious to see about this is saying that if CZ is really going to be going to jail, then I would start to believe that this was real or not. And for how long?
Yeah, I think there are like two stories or two parts to the story. One of them is like, what is going to happen to CZ, you know? And the other one is like, what is going to happen to Binance? So I've been talking to a few people and they're like, oh yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about CZ. He'll be fine, or he might go to jail. But Binance is completely solid. I'm still going to have my investments there and my assets and everything with them. But also seeing like the news today of like a few red flags of them not supporting their own stable coin anymore, that tells me that it might not be as stable for the stable coins as we thought.
Yeah, but again, I think they have predicted a lot of things very well, you know, because they are not where they are because they are just being lucky. They know what they're doing, right? So for them to step down and open hand, like say, okay, we're not going to trade, we're not going to support BUSD anymore, I think there must be a good reason for them. So again, I think CZ is a great player and he knows the game he's playing very well, especially after what we have seen with FTX. He doesn't want to be in the same place. So I think that he's doing everything possible so Binance can continue running. And if he goes to jail, it's going to be for a short period of time and his fortune's going to be there and he's safe, even though he becomes the bad guy of the history.
I think one of the things that happened when he was ousted or when he stepped down from the company is we had the OpenAI scandal of like also Sam Altman being ousted and all that stuff. So that kind of news, which was much bigger, you know, the rest of the people didn't hear much about Binance during the same week because of that. So he was lucky in that sense, I would say.
Yeah, I think some people would say lucky and some would say again really well prepared for the situation.
Let's go with the second one. So Cristiano Ronaldo was sued for promoting Binance. Again, linked to Binance. His commercial, I don't know if you saw it. It was very strange with like golden arches and golden hues. But now that the company is facing backlash, the athlete is also facing some backlash with a class action lawsuit in Florida for allegedly hurting investors. His NFT collection is one of the main reasons. For me, like, I'm not so sure how an NFT collection is gonna, you know, hurt investors, but, you know, it is what it is. So what do you think? Is the lawsuit fair? Is it not fair?
We have a saying here in Brazil that we say, like, every day, a very smart person and a very silly person step out of the bed. If they meet each other, someone's going to be lucky. And I think that was the case, especially when you're talking about NFTs from celebrities. We have this happening during the bull run so many times. We have seen, I think it was Riz Witherspoon that was promoting Bayak during the bull run, and she also was prosecuted with. So when you're promoting a project or something and you're just a celebrity, I don't think it's fair for you to be accused first, because we are talking about human beings that are adults when they're investing, right? We're not talking about children, about teenagers, about people that cannot measure the risk they're taking, that cannot analyze and decide like very rational way, I'm doing this or that. We're talking to people that are allegedly capable of doing that, right? So I think they should hold themselves accountable for the things they choose to do. And again, when you talk about a crypto brand, then you see that happening all the time. When you talk about other kinds of brand, you don't see that happening. We all know, like, for example, you know, the black brand from the soda black brand. It's very unhealthy. And you see a lot of celebrities promoting it. You see on movies because they have paid to be there and all other things. But nobody's being sued because of that. and it kills people and it induces to a very unhealthy lifestyle and all of those, but it's okay. So it's just certain markets that suffer this. I personally don't think it's fair.
Yeah, I think it's too much. And what I'm thinking, like, after this happening is I have a feeling that celebrities are not going to be comfortable anymore with promoting crypto or anything of that sort. There's been tons and tons of different lawsuits against even small influencers as well, like YouTubers and stuff like that. I'm just worried it's going to leave like a black mark, for celebrities and for other high profile people that won't want to, introduce crypto into people's lives.
I agree with you. And I question myself. I wonder if it's not like what they really want with that. Because again, when you compare different brands from different sectors, it doesn't happen the same. They're not treated the same way. So like the same way you like promoting a celebrity promoting an investment fund, you don't see anyone being prosecuted because of that. And people might lose money with that. There's a big game happening in the USA, like a lot of money flowing because of this, like to see who is going to be the bad guy, which bad guy is going to be big enough for them to really make a noise and put the market down and maybe be able to control more and this kind of stuff.
And also added to the fact that the US just loves lawsuits. Americans just love suing everyone. So guess it's not super shocking, but great. Okay, next one. TradFi is getting warm with crypto. So good news for 2024. Prominent investor Raoul Pal reported that 2024 will be a favorable year for crypto, surpassing the prospects for tech stocks. He also says that within a year, there might be significant growth. Do you agree or disagree, or neither?
I have a very divided opinion regarding this. I think like when you're talking about big players coming into the crypto market, you're talking about bringing more centralized money to the market. This part, I don't think that part is good because then you have like not even whales, you have like a part of the ocean controlling the market. When you think about people that are putting a lot of money into the crypto market, I think it can be something really good. The same thing we have seen during the last bull market, right? We saw like we were talking about NFTs and the metaverse the whole time, and suddenly we had Coke, we had Sony, we had Gucci coming to the metaverse. Everything was exploding and everyone is bullish because of this, right? Everyone got super excited. People would buy. I remember when Snoop Dogg was on Sandbox and he created his part of the universe there. Everyone was buying a piece of Sandbox, right? And then it became almost dead and nobody's talking about it anymore. So I think it's good when you're thinking about big players making money, like putting the crypto word out for more people to know about it. But when you're talking about small investors, like people that are just joining this universe, then I don't think it's that good because you have a lot of control on the hand of very few people. And the way I see this market is completely opposite. It should be like divided, like it belongs to the biggest quantity of people possible. I think that's the way it was seen, right? Because otherwise we are just bending to the traditional finance system.
That is so true. Like I've heard several times, like let's bring crypto to the masses and let's augment or let's increase crypto adoption. So you do have a point there. Like, why are we treating crypto as if it were like normal money, normal day-to-day trading? I also talked about Bitcoin ETFs and crypto ETFs with other people. And I asked them if they would invest in them. And they said like, no, I'm already investing in Bitcoin. Why should I invest in the spot ETF? That makes sense, right? So why not invest directly? In your opinion, should there still be a close relationship with TradFi and DeFi, or?
To be quite honest, I don't think that my opinion matters. I think that this is going to be happening because you're just not going to see like the traditional market letting crypto happen, like, and so be it, just happen and that it is the way it is. I think they always going to try to have some control over it. So I think it's going to happen until it doesn't. And when I say that, I mean, like when and if crypto takes over the traditional fiat money that we have around. Then I think the traditional market's going to decrease in size and all of this stuff. And maybe we can separate things, but otherwise, I don't think they ever going to be separated.
Let's head on to the next one. Brazil slaps new crypto tax. Brazilian Senate approves 15% maximum tax on cryptocurrency earnings for foreign exchanges effective next year, January 1st, 2024. So Brazilians earning over $1,200, around 6,000 reais, annually from foreign-based crypto exchanges will be impacted. Is this a good reaction from the government?
I think this is the trickiest question of them all. I know there was not like right on the point with any answer, but this one, I think it's really tricky because of some points. When you're talking about this law specifically, you have a huge tax, and then you have things like taxation of billionaires in the country, which I believe is a good thing. But is it within the same text? So if you refuse the whole law, you're going to be refusing that out as well. So this is something, that's why it's so tricky, The other part is that people here in Brazil, like the minimum wage is around $200. So when you're talking about $1,200, you're talking about a lot of money for the majority of the population. So if you don't need to pay until you reach that point, a lot of people that invest just bits here and there are going to be safe. The other thing that I think that a lot of people that are talking about this this law taxation are not taking into consideration is that you're only going to pay this on top of the profit you have. You're not going to have to pay for the money that you already have into your wallet. You're not going to have to pay if you're holding Bitcoin for 10 years, for 5 years. Only when you withdraw your profit, then you're going to have to pay. And that's the way any kind of investments works here in Brazil. If you invest anything in a bank, you're already going to have to pay on top of their profit. Only the savings account you don't. So it's not something bad, no.
So what you're saying, it's kind of expected and not surprising.
Yeah, okay. I'm not saying it's a good thing. There are some things that we're not going to be able to change during our lifetime. Fight against it. We're just going to put more stress towards, we're just going to direct more stress towards our lives. This already happens when you invest in any other kind of investment. So it's expected to happen with crypto. The amount of people that make this kind of profit is like so little. And usually are the wealthy ones. I'm not against wealthy people pay a little bit more of tax. I think we are in a very gray area. And people are scared about it. And most people that are terrified about it shouldn't be, because they're not going to pay anything.
Also, other people are saying that this kind of tax is like a right direction, or it's a step forward to more regulation. Do you see that relationship or that connection?
We definitely have Brazil looking into crypto and everything that is going around. Like the Brazilian identity is already being registered on the blockchain. We have like Pix, which is like something amazing for us to transfer money just using like your internet banking, and instant and free here in Brazil that I have never seen any place in the world that I have been. Like, so our economics is our technology related to the bank system here is very, very good. Again, I think this is something we can expect more laws regarding crypto. Right now, we have the government. When you talk about politics here in Brazil, everyone's so divided. It's such a polemic topic. Like, I know that in US it is as well, but here, gosh, it's crazy. We have a government, a president, that he says that he's on the left side, different from the previous one we had. I can see that there is a political game going on, like the law taxation that we mentioned before, where they are trying to put something that is going to give something back to the people in the middle of a law that is like taking something and giving more control to the government. It's difficult to give an opinion about regulation here, because on one side, the people are getting more rights, and you're taxing people that usually do not pay any tax for billions of dollars in their accounts, while you have like a regular worker paying a lot of taxes when you see the percentage that it is from their wage, right? So in that sense, I think the regulation is good. It's always tricky until we see it working and see where the money is going to and all of this,
Excited for what's to come for like crypto in Latin America. And I think those are all those topics that we have for this week. So thank you everyone for joining, and see you next week. Thank you, Bird.
Thank you, Cris, and see you guys.